Hey, Menopause Metabolism Makeover Group, Happy New Year. Great to see everybody here. And to kick off our new year, I want to talk about, pardon me, I was just over there eating some delicious concoction of, and I probably should have finished that up before I started my video, but I'll tell you about it since I'm talking about it now. Somebody made some orzo with some mozzarella, tomato, and basil, and a little bit of garlic. It's so good. So back to Happy New Year. Happy New Year. What I want to talk to you guys about today is how our sleep gets interrupted with our menopause and our fluctuating hormones. So whichever phase you're in, if it's pre, you're right in the middle, if you're post, and our sleep gets disrupted. And then sleep is one of the things that can help us kind of stay equilibrium there in the middle. But if our hormones are kind of fighting against us, what can we do? Because during our sleep is when we reset our cortisol, right? So it starts out really high in the morning. Alert, get awake, let's go, we gotta do stuff, right? So it's highest in the morning, and with some kind of little waves, ripples over the course of the day, should taper off and then reset overnight and really bring us back to baseline so that we're in our circadian wake cycle, shoots back up and gets us alert again. But if we don't get those that cortisol level reset overnight, we start with a higher baseline, shoots its way up. We're probably all jacked up first thing in the morning until we're not. That's later down the road. But then it's going to drop off through the day, and now we get to the next evening, cortisol levels are even higher because they haven't been reset. And then what happens over time, as I alluded to, is that way down the road, we don't get this extra jump in the morning, we get just flat through the whole day. And that can be really kind of deleterious for our mental health, for so many of our systems in the body that keep us moving around, not just your circadian awake sleep cycle, but cardiovascular, so many different systems. So what we really want to do is, I always say, like, sleep is kind of right there in the middle. It's a catch-22. If you can't get it, then how do you get it, and what are we going to do? So let's look at our sleep hygiene. Now's the time to do it. It's January, it's cold, and it's dark. It doesn't mean you should be sleeping at 3 in the afternoon, although some days it feels like we should be when the sun starts to get a little bit low in the sky. That's our natural circadian rhythm. But do take advantage of, we're probably colder, we're wrapped up, we're a little bit more cozy and comfortable. Take some steps to get your sleep habits in place. Maybe you do give yourself an earlier bedtime. Do a bed routine. So I have some sleep guides, many of you have seen them, as how do we get ourselves prepped and ready to go to sleep? How do we fall asleep? And how do we get good quality sleep while we're doing it so we can reset those cortisol levels? So work to get some of those in. Maybe this month in January, you just select a bedtime and you see how many days out of January you can get to as close to that bedtime as you can. I would recommend 30 minutes before that bedtime that you select. So let's say we say 10 p.m. At 9:30, start to prepare for bed, which means don't check emails, especially if they're stressful. Don't scroll. You have no control over that scroll and what's going to be coming in your feed. So what your brain is going to get exposed to. So outside of like the light factor hitting your brain and keeping you alert, it's the content also that you have no control over that's keeping you alert as well. So get rid of the scroll, get rid of screen times, get rid of the lights, start to do some calming things. You might even want to do a breathing exercise. I always say go into the bathroom where the bright lights are first, do your face or your teeth or whatever as part of your getting ready for bed routine first, so that you can come away from the bright lights and then start to power yourself down in low lights. All right, so those are some ideas. Some of you guys may have my sleep guide already, follow that. Some of you, maybe we've worked on your own personal sleep guide, but if we haven't and you're like, that sounds great, choose your bedtime and create your own bedroom routine of trying to get yourself to sleep. Now, what works for me may not work for you. Everybody's different, right? And same thing, even people in your own house might all be different. So try some stuff. If it doesn't work, give it a fair chance, right? You don't want to try it once, but that didn't work, right? all been there. Don't do that. But give something an opportunity to work. And if it's not working out, then okay, let's get rid of that and we'll replace it with something else, right? For example, I sometimes will take lavender in a carrier oil, rub it into the bottom of my feet, especially during high training. Feels awesome on my feet when I'm doing all those miles for running. But lavender also has a calming effect. It gets right to the brain fairly immediately through all those pores in the bottom of your feet. Now, that might not work for everybody, right? So, but it works great for me. So that's something you can take, but also something you'd be like, I'm not doing that. So totally fine. Maybe you like to read a book, hear Audible, something like that. If you read, please have it be on paper so you don't get the light stimulation. If you need some help establishing your routine, just let me know. It's one of the favorite things I love to talk about. All right, Menopause Metabolism Makeover Group. Have a great January. Let's make this year awesome. They're all awesome. They're all we have. So let's make the best out of each heartbeat. Have a good January, guys.